You connected to the wireless, and this is your favorite show, Art on Earth. I am Aphelele Flatela, and I have in studio a South African-born artist who started his music career at a very young age. In high school, he chose music as a subject of study, which he used his voice as the instrument. We further pursued Bachelor of Arts in Performing, and he majored in directing and writing. Buhle Rwaxa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Before we get down to anything, I have to clear this out. Do you consider yourself a musician or a singer?
Interesting question. I consider myself a musician who specializes in singing.
Wow.
Yes, because essentially all musicians have an instrument, be it the guitar, pianos, flutes, and the brass instruments, all of them. But essentially I chose to specialize in voice, which is singing. So I am a musician.
So you've got some good vocals there. So I want to know, what inspired you to take music?
Well, I come from a family that's quite musically inclined. And I grew up in the church as well, so that was the first time I got exposed to music and singing, and I absolutely fell in love with it. In the church, it's usually used as a medium to connect with God, and I found beauty in that, so I fell in love with singing.
All right. So I don't know music. I know nothing about singing. So can you please take us to pre-production of music, you as a singer? What is the preparation?
Well, considering that I took voice as a subject, there's some musical theory background that I had to learn in high school. That started in high school in grade 10, whereby I used the voice as an instrument, as I said before. And we had to learn some quite hectic theory, from sight singing to singing triads, vocal work, vocal exercises, Fakai exercises, to really help with those long notes, with those big intervals between the notes. So that's mostly the preparation. Of course, warming up the voice is a big one, because you have to be able to alternate between the registers, from the lower register to your middle register, chest, falsetto, all of them. So it's quite a fun bit of work, I would consider it. And that's pretty much the pre-production behind the singing behind it. Practice, practice, practice is the biggest pre-production that I would say has the biggest influence on me as a singer.
Okay, a lot of people just see you guys on stage and think like, oh, that is so beautiful, but there's so much work that goes behind. Have you ever encountered a moment where you just wanted to give up because the pre-production is taking, you know, the life out of you?
That's such a personal question. I definitely have. As somebody who was on Idols just the season before the final season, I've had moments during that time when the pre-production was just not pre-productioning. And as much as I would rehearse and practice and deploy every strategy I had, it just wasn't coming together. And I suppose it was because of the nerves. Nerves have a way of just playing with our minds and making us reach results that are not intended, I suppose, for lack of better wording. So definitely that was one of those moments, and I felt like giving up, because it was just so hard to sing for one of the few times in my life, an art that I'm so adept and good at. It was hard to do it. But thankfully, the audition actually went viral. And you can find that on my TikTok page at Buhle Rwaxa, and check me out, yeah.
Oh, okay. That is so beautiful. Buhle is
Thank
taking
you.
us through his journey as a musician. I would like to know, for someone where you just, have you ever encountered a moment like during pre-production where you just lost your voice, because your voice is key in your career, and you lost your voice and you couldn't just continue to perform, and you had to cancel a performance because of that?
Interesting question. Well, the context behind that is that I actually didn't cancel the performance. the show had to go on, which was one of the most difficult shows I've ever had. I lost my voice recently when I was overseas in Turkey. For 3 days, actually. This was the beginning of the year in January.
Yeah.
And utilizing the voice, it's, as you said, it is the key instrument for me. So losing the voice was really, really heartbreaking more than anything, because I could not deliver. And I love delivering through music. I love connecting with people through music, through my singing. So I did lose the voice for 3 days, but unfortunately I could not give up. And I was just there singing all those low notes because I couldn't access the other registers in order to sing as efficiently as I usually do. So I had to just sing in the lower register the entire time. And that was embarrassing, to say the least. But it was a learning curve for me.
So, Buhle, from hosting local karaoke nights to international, tell us about that and what has been your biggest highlight in your music career so far?
So basically, I started hosting karaoke nights at Beer Shack in 2022. This was following being asked by one of the managers to host just a small event, a get-togethering for the community, and it progressed from there. And since then, that's when I realized that I actually have the ability to engage an audience through music. That then led me to pursue music from an international perspective. And there was an agent who actually scouted me during those karaoke nights, and he was like, "Hey, come through to my agency, and we're gonna put you on stage on an international platform. Are you ready?" At that time, to be honest, I was not ready. I was not ready, but I did it anyways, and I got ready as I was doing it, I suppose. And the highlight definitely is traveling abroad to the Middle East to perform. That experience has taught me so much, not just about my ability to perform, but just about me personally and the things that I need to do in order to just as a prerequisite for a vocalist to do, things that are helping me to improve as a performer, as a singer specifically. So that's definitely been the highlight of my career.
Oh, okay. You know what they say? They say, have fear, but do it anyway. And you did it, and you landed international. So, through your experience when you were in Turkey, how has that experience shaped you, and what things you had to unlearn as a singer?
That's a loaded question. Well, the things that have shaped me is, first of all, I needed to learn discipline. Being a singer is fun and games until you have to step up to the mic and perform and deliver. And once you lack discipline in that department, it's going to show in your performance. So discipline is a big prerequisite as a vocalist. Things like sleeping early, waking up early, working out, staying active, eating healthy, staying hydrated. All of those things are disciplinary actions that I had to implement thoroughly in my routines. And a lot of things that I had to unlearn is that you just have to behave. Like I said, discipline, honestly. Socializing is, you have to keep it to a minimum. And I have always thought that maybe people are overreacting when they say, don't talk too much. Don't speak to people so much, you're going to go on stage. Don't talk to people, don't be loud and everything. But that's actually such an important part of the discipline, is preserving the voice so that when you perform, all of the interactions that you had aren't affecting your performance mentally. And just your voice is also nice and crisp so that you deliver a spectacular performance. So that's one of the things. I also learned a big one. Praying is another big one for me. As someone who is Christian and considers God a big part of their life, I had to learn to pray at each and every moment, after each and every interval. Just be thankful and grateful that I had an opportunity to travel abroad, and administer my art form to international people. So that's one of the things that I learned, unlearned, and have kept as a disciplinary practice.
And I do believe you did represent us well. Thank you so much, Buhle. With everything that you have just said, exposure and externalities can somehow shift focus, as you spoke about discipline. So exposure, like experiencing new things and everything else, can make you lose focus, the noises and everything. But we do need exposure. We do need to be out there so that we can learn.
Indeed.
So how do you stay true to yourself, to your artistic vision, while you're trying to evolve, all around that?
These questions are quite in depth, Aphelele. Well, like I said, what really helps me stay grounded is prayer, just staying connected spiritually. It's a big one for me. And it just helps remind me that there's a goal at the end of the day. I'm not just doing this for the sake of doing it. There's a purpose behind it. And it's supposed to impact and impart some kind of healing, refreshment, goodness, enjoyable vibes for the people. You know what I mean? So that's definitely one of the things that keeps me grounded and focused. Reading my Bible, staying in the Word as well. Also just really, really helps keep me grounded, because the Bible for me is almost like a reflective book. I get to reflect on, what am I doing right? Am I keeping the laws that I'm supposed to live by? You know what I mean? Am I adhering to who I've been called to be by the Lord? If He says, hey, I've called you to be a chosen person for my glory and the edification of the church, am I adhering to that? So that definitely helps keep me grounded as well and focused. So prayer is a big one for me. Also, just having my own playlist of music just takes me to a whole other personal landscape, which really, really helps just focus my identity, because it's really easy to get lost when you're exposed to so many people. Like you said, exposure is needed, but it can be confusing. And when you're on an international platform, there's so many things at your disposal. So it's really important to stay grounded in those moments, and those are the things that have been helping me do so.
One of the women that I look up to once said, do not lose focus of why you went into it in the first place. And I have taken that, and I think I have made it my motto. So as an artist myself, I respect artists who respect their artistry, having to know that this is what I do, I love it and I respect it, so I cannot do anything that can jeopardize it. Thank you so much, Buhle. So coming to the end of our interview, are there any current projects you are busy with? Maybe a single or an album that people need to, get information on?
Thank you for that. Actually, I'm actually working on something right now. First of all, I'm on the wireless as well.
Yes.
So that's a pretty exciting journey for me. I've never done radio before. So this has been very illuminating. And speaking of upcoming music, I have been writing a few things. I'm hoping to release an EP before the end of the year. I'm currently sifting between titles and names for the EP, but one that's really been standing out for me is The Shining One, which just is an EP title that kind of like speaks about how I've always been in the spotlight, even though sometimes I've never chosen to be. I think I'm kind of made for this. So it's definitely one of the titles that I'm looking to deploy for my EP. But I do have some music coming up, maybe later near the end of the year. An EP coming up to just have fun.
So you wrote a song.
Yeah.
So you're not just a singer, a songwriter too.
Definitely.
Okay, that was Buhle Rwaxa, our guest. You're still connected to the wireless, and this is Art on Earth, your favorite show. I'm Aphelele Flatela, your host.